We've all heard about the story of the first black samurai from Africa named Yasuke. Are those stories we've heard all facts or fiction? Yasuke was an African man who arrived in Japan in the late 16th century during the country's feudal era. He was believed to have been a slave and was brought to Japan by Jesuit missionaries. Yasuke caught the attention of Oda Nobunaga, one of Japan's most powerful daimyo, who was fascinated by his exotic appearance and strength. Nobunaga invited Yasuke to become his bodyguard and eventually granted him the rank of samurai, making him the first and only known non-Japanese samurai in history. Yasuke's story is a fascinating example of cross-cultural exchange and the possibilities of social mobility in feudal Japan. There are a number of myths and legends that have grown up around Yasuke over the years, some of which are not supported by historical evidence. Here are a few examples. 1. Yasuke was the first black man to set foot in Japan.
What?
While Yasuke was certainly a rare figure in Japan during the late 16th century, he was not the first black man to visit the country. There are records of African slaves and traders in Japan as early as the 16th century, and it is likely that other Africans had visited the country prior to Yasuke's arrival. 2. Yasuke was a slave. While some accounts suggest that Yasuke was sold into slavery by the Portuguese or Jesuits, there is little evidence to support this claim. It is more likely that he was a free man who entered Nobunaga's service voluntarily. 3. Yasuke was a samurai. While Yasuke did serve as a retainer to Oda Nobunaga, there is no evidence that he was ever granted samurai status. In fact, it is unlikely that a foreigner would have been eligible for such an honor. 4. Yasuke was instrumental in the unification of Japan. While Yasuke was present for some key battles and events during the late 16th century, it is unlikely that he played a major role in the unification of Japan. The unification was primarily achieved through the efforts of Japanese warlords and their armies, not by a single foreigner. While Yasuke's story is fascinating and unique, it is important to separate fact from fiction and to approach his life with a critical eye. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Subscribe if you liked our content. See you on the next one.